This is the last incarnation for everyone. Awakening is occurring. What this means is that you'll not go through a process of incarnation again. In other words, you will not go through a birth process in which you seem to lose your awareness of home. And the reason is because, and this is the simplest way I can put it, there are more of us, and I am including all of you in the word us. There are more of us who are awake than there are those who are asleep. Now let's not become technical in your thinking about this. The simple fact is that there are not enough joined in the dream of a partial experience of the kingdom of heaven to maintain it any longer, and this experience of ignorance is weakening. The very fact that you are here today interested in what we are speaking about is an indication that the dream is breaking up. And when I speak of awakening, do not become too limited in your thinking, because I'm not referring just to those incarnated on your planet. I am including also those who have passed on, but still are indulging in a partial view of reality. Everyone is going to wake up because of a lack of sufficient mutual agreement about the definition that seems to substantiate further dreaming. Now, what this means is that indeed you will have the opportunity to experience planet Earth, but you will not have to go through a birth process to do it, and you will not experience any degree of ignorance in doing so. What you cannot comprehend, but which I can share with you, is that the undistorted conscious experience of being, I mean by that divine awakened being, is at one and the same time universal and specific. Right now you could say that you are experiencing specific, localized awareness. And the reason you feel as though you are inside a huge universe, trapped in limitation, is because you are not accessing your universal awareness, because you are identifying with such fixation on this particular form. I will tell you that I could appear right here beside Paul in the form that you would recognize, like Paul's. I could appear here next to Paul as a body of light, and even without appearing, I can be here in the sense that you know of being here, and experience planet Earth without incarnating, without going through a birth process, and without seeming to become submerged in sensory data and reaction to sensory data. In other words, I can be here awake. And what I am here to tell you is that you can be here awake. And it is that shift of awareness into being awake that you are all currently engaged in, period. And I am confirming it to you and encouraging you to continue. Now, although nothing disappears when you wake up, you do not experience in the way you experience it now, because you are not providing your acquired definitions and meanings to everything, and you are experiencing it from God's point of view. More than that, more than experiencing the world and universe, I will say the material world and universe as you currently define it. More than experiencing it as the kingdom of heaven, you will also be experiencing yourself without limit. And what is important to you right now will not be important to you then, because what is important to you right now relates almost entirely to survival. And threat to your survival will not be a part of your conscious awareness, and so you will not be engaged in surviving. You will be engaged in being. And what will you be engaged in being? You will be engaged in being the conscious awareness of God. This means that what will get your attention is the movement of, "Behold, I make all things new." You will find yourself, and I must use images that have meaning to you, riding the crest of the wave of the movement of creation, and experiencing yourself as that movement. And although you will be able to be conscious of yourself in the universal sense of that movement, you will also be aware of yourself specifically. Now, when I say that, I mean that the individuality that you are is identified specifically as your body, but that the individuality that you infinitely are is identified as the creation of God, the infinite creation of God. And you will find that there will be times when you will, I'm going to say, observe or experience things from the specific vantage point, and times when you will experience it from the universal vantage point. And what this amounts to is a shift of emphasis, because when you experience it from a specific vantage point, you don't sacrifice the universal vantage point. And when you experience everything from your universal vantage point, you will not be unconscious of the specific vantage point. Now, it is not too useful to continue describing this further because it is not comprehensible at the moment. The key thing in answer to your question is that instead of engaging in survival, your attention will be involved in riding the crest of the wave of the movement of creation, and being conscious of the fact that you are the crest of the wave of the movement of creation. And you are the creation that is inseparable from the movement of creation. It will all be your conscious experience of being, because that is God's experience of being. And so it is.